Hello dear students, welcome back to the another session of environment. Today we are on lesson number 4, air. Now, what is air? Without air, do you think that we can survive? No, we cannot survive. Air is present in the Earth's atmosphere. Now, air is the name given in place of the atmosphere. Now, atmosphere means the blanket of air around the Earth's surface. Okay, it works as a blanket. Like if for example, like if you sleep by covering your body with a blanket, then how will you feel? You will feel during the winter season you will feel very warm, isn't it? And during the hot season you will feel very hot. So when to cover our body, protect our body from the cold, we take a blanket and then cover our body. So the atmosphere also, it works just like a blanket. Okay, it protects the earth from the harmful rays of the sun, because if the sun rays hit our body directly, then what will happen? We will start boiling, just like how we boil something on the gas. So that's why in order to protect ourselves, the ozone layer works. The gas which is present in the atmosphere, it protects us from the harmful rays of the sun, the heat of the sun. Now, there is also a gas present in the Earth's atmosphere which is known as a greenhouse effect, the greenhouse gas. It protects, it not only protects the Earth's surface, but also it keeps the balance in the Earth's atmosphere, balance of weather and climate in the Earth's atmosphere. And if the greenhouse effect gets decreased, then the rays of the sun, it will start hitting that part of the earth very much. Okay, and then when the night will appear, that part will start freezing. So this greenhouse effect also, it protects our earth from the harmful gases which comes from the sun's rays. Now, we know that our earth is surrounded by a huge blanket of air called atmosphere. All living beings on this earth depend on the atmosphere for their survival. All the living beings, humans, plants and animals, we all are dependent on air for our survival. We cannot live without the air because we need air to breathe. It provides us the air we breathe and protects us from the harmful effects of the sun rays. Without this blanket of protection, we would be baked alive by the heat of the sun during day and get frozen during night. So it is this mass of air that has made the temperature on the earth livable. So because of the blanket of protection, the atmosphere blanket, because of this reason only we can survive on the planet Earth. Otherwise, because if we get the direct heat of the sun, we will be baked, just like how we bake the sandwich or how we bake the samosas. So our body will become in a baked form, and in the night time our body will freeze because the temperature which was present in the daytime, it gets stored in the earth's surface, and then in the night time it converts into in the temperature, it starts cooling. Okay, in the night time the temperature starts cooling, and because of this we will get freezed, because we know that the earth keeps on rotating. So one portion of the earth will receive the temperature, and at night that part will become frozen. Composition of the atmosphere. Now the atmosphere, the air, we have different layers of air. We have different gases also present in each layer. Okay, we don't only have oxygen, we don't only have carbon dioxide, we have many gases present in the atmosphere, and that gases, it also keeps us alive. Do you know that the air we take in while breathing is actually a mixture of many gases? Nitrogen and oxygen are two gases which make up the bulk of the atmosphere. So nitrogen and oxygen are the two gases which we breathe, and there are many other gases also which we breathe. We don't only breathe the oxygen or carbon dioxide, we breathe along with the many other gases. But each and every gases has their own functions. Carbon dioxide, helium, ozone, argon and hydrogen are found in lesser quantities. Apart from these gases, tiny dust particles are also present in the air. The pie chart gives you the percentage of different constituents of air. So, this is a pie chart of different constituents of gases present in the atmosphere. Most we have nitrogen and oxygen. The percentage of nitrogen is higher, 78%. Then comes the oxygen level. The oxygen level is 21%. Okay. Then we have carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is present in the atmosphere in 0.03%. Then argon is present in the atmosphere as 0.93%. Then comes the other gases like helium and hydrogen. All these are present in 0.04%. So these are the other gases along with oxygen and nitrogen. Next, nitrogen is the most plentiful gas in the air. So we saw the percentage of nitrogen. How much it is? It is 78%. When we inhale means when we breathe in, we take some amount of nitrogen into our lungs. When we are inhaling, that means we are also taking some amount of nitrogen into our lungs, and exhale it, then we breathe out this nitrogen as well. But plants need nitrogen for their survival. See, we take a little amount of nitrogen when we inhale, and thereafter we also exhale, we release the nitrogen from our body. But the plants, in order to survive, they need nitrogen. They cannot take nitrogen directly from the air. Bacteria that live in the soil and roots of some plants take nitrogen from the air and change its form so that plants can use it. So the bacteria which are present in the bacteria like insects and all, which are present in the soil and roots of the plants, they take the nitrogen directly from the air, and then they change into they keeps on changing its form and then gives to the plants. Oxygen is the second most plentiful gas in the air. So second most the gas which we take is the oxygen. If our oxygen level is down, that means our survival will also be in danger. Humans and animals take oxygen from the air as they breathe. Green plants produce oxygen during photosynthesis. Photosynthesis means the producers of food by the plants. In this way, oxygen content in the air remains constant. If we cut trees, then this balance gets disturbed. We know it very well that through the plants we inhale the oxygen, and if we cut down the trees, what will happen? The oxygen level will keep on decreasing, and this as a result will become very dangerous for us to survive on this planet Earth. Carbon dioxide is another important gas. Green plants use carbon dioxide to make their food. So the green plants What they use carbon dioxide to make their food and release oxygen. The green plants, they use the carbon dioxide and release out the oxygen which we take. Humans and animals release carbon dioxide. The amount of carbon dioxide released by humans or animals seems to be equal to the amount used by the plants, which make a perfect balance. However, the balance is upset by burning of fuels such as coal and oil. So when the air is polluted, the level of carbon dioxide keeps on increasing, because we will not be able to breathe the fresh air. We know that the plants, they make their food with the help of carbon dioxide. They release the carbon dioxide and then we take them into they make food due to carbon dioxide and then releases oxygen. Now if the air is polluted and the polluted air gets mixed up with the carbon dioxide, then can you just imagine what type of air we are going to breathe in? We are going to breathe in the polluted air, and this will affect our lungs very much. So that's why it is very important that we should keep the air clean and free from all the smokes which comes out from the vehicles, which comes out from the industries or factories. Then because of this reason, but when we burn the coal, when we burn the garbages, the smoke, it gets mixed up in the air and it pollutes the air, and this air gets mixed up with the carbon dioxide and oxygen which we take. And this is the reason why nowadays people are suffering from this and that problems. They add billions of tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere every year. As a result, the increased volume of carbon dioxide is affecting the Earth's weather and climate. So this is the reason also. The smokes which comes out from the factories, from the industries, by the burning of fuels, this get mixed up with the carbon dioxide, and this is a result which is affecting our weather and climate. Now we have structure of the atmosphere. We know that there are different layers of atmosphere. In the previous chapter we learnt about there are different layers of the land. The crust, the mantle and the core. So same likewise in the air also there are different layers. Now we are going to study what are these structures or what are the layers of the atmosphere. Our atmosphere is divided into 5 layers starting from the Earth's surface. These are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. Now this is a picture given here. Layers of atmosphere: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. Troposphere. This layer is the most important layer of the Earth. Its average height is 13 km. The air we breathe exists here. Almost all the weather phenomena like rainfall, fog and hailstorm occur in this layer. And troposphere. This is troposphere. The air which we breathe is present in this layer, and in this layer also all the weather conditions like weather changes like rainfall, then fog, hailstorm, then also snow, all this occurs in this layer which is the troposphere. Next comes stratosphere. Above the troposphere lies the stratosphere. The second layer of atmosphere is the stratosphere. It extends up to the height of 50 km. Now troposphere height is 13 km. Now from 13 km if you count 14, 15, 16, 17 and reach to 50 km, that means you have reached the next layer of the atmosphere which is the stratosphere. This layer is almost free from clouds and associated weather phenomena, making conditions most ideal for flying aeroplanes. So when you travel by airplanes, you will see that above the clouds you will be traveling. That means that is the third layer, that is the second layer, that is stratosphere. The aeroplanes, they travel in the second layer of the atmosphere. Okay. One important feature of stratosphere is that it contains a layer of ozone gas. So in this layer we have the ozone gas, which protects us from the harmful rays of the sun. We have just learned how it protects us from the harmful effect of the sun rays. Next, mesosphere. This is the third layer of the atmosphere. It lies above the stratosphere. It extends up to a height of 80 km. Now from 30 km ahead is the third layer, which is known as the mesosphere. Meteoroids burn up in this layer on entering from the space. So the meteoroids which are present in the solar system, it burns in this third layer, which is known as the mesosphere. So the meteoroids, they get burned in this layer before reaching to our planet Earth. It extends up to a height of okay. Next layer we have is thermosphere. In thermosphere, temperature rises very rapidly with increasing heights. So we know that whenever we climb mountains, the higher we reach the end of the mountain, the temperature keeps on increasing. Okay, it keeps on increasing. We feel more pressure of the air. We start feeling cold. So the same like when you reach the thermosphere, the temperature keeps on rising because of the height. Ionosphere is a part of this layer. It extends between 80 to 400 kilometer. So the fourth layer, which is the thermosphere, the height of thermosphere from the mesosphere is very deeper at a great altitude. Like it is between 80 to 400 kilometer. Okay, we saw that the troposphere from the land, it is only 13 kilometer. Then from the troposphere, when we go to the stratosphere, it is 50 kilometer. Then from stratosphere, when we go to the mesosphere, it is 80 kilometer. But from mesosphere, if we go to the fourth layer of the atmosphere, which is the thermosphere, it is between 80 to 400 kilometer at a very great height. So that's why the temperature also keeps on increasing because of the height. The air pressure is more in this fourth layer. This layer helps in radio transmission. In fact, radio waves transmitted from the earth are reflected back to the earth by this layer. So the radio transmissions, the reports which we get from the radio, either by listening or by listening to the radio, on the radio, like about the news, about the movies, about the matches. So all this takes place, the transmission, the radio transmissions, it takes place in this layer, the thermosphere. Okay. Now exosphere. The uppermost layer of the atmosphere is known as exosphere. This layer has a very thin air. Light gases like helium and hydrogen float in this space from here. Now, we learned about the different gases. We have nitrogen, we have oxygen, we have carbon dioxide, and there are also other gases like helium and hydrogen. So all these gases are present in this exosphere. Okay, the uppermost layer of the atmosphere, and here the layer of the atmosphere is very thin, and there the gases are also very light. Now this was about the structure of the atmosphere. Next we will know about the weather and climate. Is it going to rain today? Will it be bright and sunny today? How many times have you heard this from anxious cricket fans speculating the fact of an one-day match? So weather and climate, these are two different things. Weather means it occurs from day to day. It changes from day to day, from time to time, from hour to hour. But climate means changes of season. We have monsoon season, we have spring season, we have summer season. And it's because of the climate only we receive the weather. We have rainy day, or we have cloudy day, we have foggy day. If we imagine our body to be a radio and the mind its speaker, weather is something that fiddles with its control knobs. Weather is this hour to hour, day to day conditions of the atmosphere. A hot or humid weather may make one irritable. A pleasant breezy weather may make one cheerful and even plan for an outing. Weather can change dramatically from day to day. However, the average weather conditions of a place for a longer period of time represents the climate of a place. Now, do you understand why we have daily weather forecast? In the news report, every time the news reporter tells us that today the weather is 29 degrees Celsius hot, or then 36 degrees Celsius rainy. So this is because of the weather conditions, the climatic conditions of our atmosphere. Okay, because of the atmosphere changes, we have a change in the weather and climate. Now temperature. The temperature you feel every day is the temperature of the atmosphere. The degree of hotness and coldness of the air is known as temperature. The more the temperature rises, the more we will start feel hot. And when the temperature decreases, we will start feel cold. The temperature of the atmosphere changes not only between day and night, but also from season to season. Summers are hotter than winter. So the temperature of the atmosphere, it not only changes from day to day, from hour to hour, but it also changes from seasons to seasons. Like summer seasons, winter seasons, we know that summer seasons are hotter than winter seasons. An important factor that influences the distributions of temperature is insolation. Insolation is the incoming solar energy intercepted by the earth. The amount of insolation decreases from the equator towards the poles. Therefore, the temperature decreases in the same manner. Now, do you understand why poles are covered with snow? See, we know that the earth moves in a slanting, in a tilted way. That's why the temperature, the climatic zones which we have on the equator, on the Tropic of Cancer, then Tropic of Capricorn, Arctic Circle, Antarctic Circle, all these are affected because of the climatic conditions, and the temperature also in these zones also affects a lot. When the sun rays are falling directly on the equator, the places which lies on the equator, the climate becomes very hot, the weather becomes very hot, and the sun rays, when it starts going higher and higher, the rays of the sun, it keeps on declining. Means the sun rays, it keeps on decreasing. So the Arctic Circle and the Antarctic Circle, the North Pole and the South Pole, okay, there the sun rays, they receive very less, and that's why these zones are known as the coldest zones, because most throughout the year they are covered with snow. If the earth's temperature rises too high, it would become too warm for some crops to grow. temperature in cities is much higher than that of villages. Why? Because in cities we can see only buildings and buildings. We don't see any trees, and that's why, because of this reason, the temperature is very high in the cities. But when we go to villages, there the temperature is very pleasant. Why? Because we can see around the villages covered with lots of trees. The concrete and metal in buildings and the asphalt of roads get heated up during the day. This heat is released during the night. Also, the crowded high-rise buildings of the cities trap the warm air and thus raise the temperature of the cities. So, because of the metals through which the buildings are being made, and also the roads, the metallic roads, in the daytime it gets heated up, and that's why it gives rise in the temperature. And because of the population also, the temperature keeps on rising. Now, next topic we have air pressure. Now, air pressure is something that the more the weight of the air, the more we will feel the pressure of the air. When we reach the height of the mountain, there the air pressure keeps on increasing and the temperature keeps on decreasing. It means it is the pressure which is present in the air. So in this topic we are going to see how does it actually happens. You will be surprised to know that air above us pressures us with a great force on our bodies. However, we don't even feel it. This is because the air pressures us from all directions and our body exerts a counter pressure. We don't feel the pressure of the air that much in our body. Why? Because it comes from all the directions. From the north, all the direction means, see, the atmosphere, it is the blanket of protection on the earth. So it comes from all the direction, from the north, from the south, from the east, from the west, isn't it? It doesn't come from only one direction. That's why we don't feel the pressure of the air that much on our body. Air pressure is defined as a pressure exerted by the weight of an air or on the earth's surface. As we go up the layers of atmosphere, the pressure falls rapidly. The air pressure is highest at sea level and decreases with height. Horizontally, the distributions of air pressure is influenced by temperature of air at a given place. In areas where temperature is high, the air gets heated and rises. So, we know the process of water cycle. Okay, water cycle, what does it do? It evaporates and then it condenses and then precipitates, isn't it? Then we get the rainfall. Due to precipitations we get rainfall, and this water gets into the streams or in the ponds or in the lakes or in the oceans as water. Now, air pressure also works in this way. The more the high the temperature is, the more the air will get heated up. Okay, will get heated up, and that's why the heated air, it becomes very lighter. But this creates a low pressure air. Low pressure is associated with cloudy skies and wet weather. So when this air gets heated up in the atmosphere, in the skies, so we can see as a cloudy skies or as a wet weather. Wet weather means humidity. Okay, humidity. We feel sweating, isn't it? It's because of the air pressure. We feel sweat. We sweat, and this is known as wet weather. Wet weather means humidity. Okay, when we feel sweat. In areas having lower temperature, the air is cold. It is therefore heavy. Heavy air sinks and creates a high pressure area. High pressure is associated with clear and sunny sky. Now here, when you go to a hill station, when you visit a mountain, you will see that the mountain is covered with snow, isn't it? There, the air is also very cooled, isn't it? So what it does, the air, it gets sinks because of the lower pressure lower pressure of the weather. So the air, it gets sinks, and then it creates a very high pressure on the air, where we can see a clear sky and also a sunny sky. The sky is very clear, and the sun rays are also very sharp. Okay, the air always moves from high pressure areas to low pressure areas. So this was about air pressure. Now next come to the wind. And wind also, it moves from one direction to another. It does not move from only one direction. It keeps on moving from one direction to the another. And we know that the moving air is known as wind. Because of the air keeps on moving, so it is converted into wind. The movement of air from high pressure area to low pressure area is called wind. You can see wind at work as it blows dry leaves down the pavement or uproots trees during a storm. Then sometimes when the wind blows gently, you can even see it blowing away smoke or fine dust. At times, wind can be so strong that it is difficult to walk against it. You must have experienced it is not easy to hold an umbrella on a windy day. Think of some other examples when strong winds have created problems for you. During the cyclone also, we can feel the pressure of the wind is very high. It moves at a very great speed. And then during the rainy season also, the pressure of the wind moves in a very great speed. Winds can be broadly classified or divided into three types. Permanent wind. So winds are classified into three types: permanent wind, seasonal wind, and local winds. Now what is permanent winds? The trade winds, westerlies and easterlies, are the permanent winds. These blow constantly throughout the year in a particular direction. Now the trade wind, which is in the western and the eastern. So in this region, this wind, it moves or it blows constantly throughout the year, and that also in a particular direction. See here, in the polar eastern region, it is moving in a particular direction. In the polar eastern, here also it is moving in a particular direction, isn't it? Then here also in the western line, it is moving in a particular direction. Now seasonal winds. Seasonal winds means, like for example, we can take a monsoon. It occurs seasonally, isn't it? We don't receive rainfall throughout the year. This wind change their directions in different seasons. For example, monsoons in India. Next we have local winds. These blow only during a particular period of day or year in a small area. For example, land and sea breeze. Do you recall the hot and dry local wind of northern plains of India? It is called Loo. So the northern plains means in the Punjab area, in the state of Punjab, in the state of Delhi, the North India, in the summer season, they experienced a very different kind of wind which is known as Lu, and it is a combination of hot and dry wind. Okay, and the heat is very high. Now, because of wind also, when there is cyclones which is gets in the coastal area, in the seas, when we have cyclone, we can see that the wind it runs at a very higher speed, isn't it? Next we have moisture. When water evaporates from land and different water bodies, it becomes water vapor. We know that when water evaporates from the land and rises in the air, it turns into water vapor. Moisture in the air at any time is known as humidity. Humidity means it is also known as wet weather. When the air is full of water vapor, we call it a humid day. As the air gets warmer, its capacity to hold the water vapor increases, and so it becomes more and more humid. Unless and until we don't get, unless and until it doesn't rain, the clouds, it collects the water, clouds gets full with the water vapor, and this increases the humidity also. On a humid day, clothes take longer to dry and sweat from our body does not evaporate easily, making us feel very uncomfortable. Next, when the water vapor rises, it starts cooling. The water vapor condenses, causing formation of droplets of water. Clouds are just masses of such water droplets. When these droplets of water become too heavy to float in the air, then they come down as precipitation. When the water vapor which is present in the clouds gets heavier and heavier, and now the clouds are not enough capable to hold on the water vapor, so it turns into precipitation. First it turns into droplets of water, then when the clouds are not able to hold up the water vapor, then it turns into rainfall. Okay. Jet planes flying in the sky leave a white trail behind them. The moisture from their engines condense. We see trails of this condensed moisture for some time when there is no air movement to disturb it. Precipitation that comes down to the earth in liquid form is called rain. Most of the groundwater comes from rainwater. Plants help reserve water. When trees on hillsides are cut, rainwater flows down the bare mountains and can cause flooding of low-lying areas. On the basis of mechanism, there are three types of rainfall: the conventional rainfall, the organic rainfall, and the cyclonic rainfall. So these are the types of rainfall. This is convectional rainfall, this is orographic rainfall, and this is cyclonic rainfall. So how does it occur? It occurs because of this moisture, the water vapor, and also because of the precipitations. Because of the moisture present in the air, it turns into orographic rainfall, and the warm air which gets evaporates in the cloud, it turns into convectional rainfall. Cyclonic rainfall means when the cloud starts precipitating, rainfall starts. So it is known as a cyclonic rainfall. Rainfall is very important for the survival of plants and animals. It brings fresh water to the earth's surface. If rainfall is less, water scarcity and drought occur. On the other hand, if it is more, floods take place. So rainfall, we know that it is very important, especially for the farmers and for the plants and animals also. And the rainfall also, it makes, because of the rainfall we get the fresh water. and we can store the rainwater, because the rainwater is the main source of water. It is a fresh water. So now I hope so you have understood the chapter very well. Next time we will meet with the next topic. Till then, everybody take care of yourself and thank you.